Hello guys, this is our first educational video. We're doing Fun Brain. I have to move my screen recorder so Rick Me doesn't disappear. Doesn't poof. So, we're playing Don't Gross Out the World, as you see by the title. This is our first educational video. So, let's get started! Yay! By the way, it's 5:42, so yeah, let's play. Yeah. Take this international dining etiquette quiz and see if you're ready to dine elsewhere. Okay. Alright. Let's begin. What does it mean if you place your chopsticks over each other in an X shape? Death! Yay! Crossed chopsticks have long been a symbol of death in China in ancient times. Would be used as threats or warnings. Don't cross your chopsticks in China. You might frighten your hosts. In many parts of Scotland, it's acceptable for kids to do their homework right after dinner. Well, most kids aren't home after dinner. In many parts of Scotland, lunch is called dinner, so kids are likely to be still in school after dinner. What should you bring if you're invited to dinner in Cameroon? Nothing. It is often considered rude for guests to bring gifts of food in Cameroon. It tells the host that they aren't able to feed you. When you arrive, there will usually be a lot of food, and you're expected to eat a bit of everything. If you were in Kenya, should you eat the last bite of food from shared bowls? No. In Kenya, you should always leave a small amount of food on your plate to show you're full. The same goes for shared bowls. Shared meals are considered friendly, so you should never turn them down or try to eat alone. What food should you never eat as a young child in Chad? Eggs. Some superstitious rural villagers in Chad believe giving eggs to children will turn them into thieves in adulthood. What the? When should you say thank you during a meal in India? Almost never. In India, it could be insulting to say thank you during a meal. Saying thank you is reserved for formal occasions, so if you say it with family or friends, it could sound rude as if the other person isn't your friend. What should you do with the baguette in France? Tear it and use it to scoop up food. You should never cut baguettes when in France. They should be torn and used to soak up drops of soup or sauces. Doing this shows that you enjoyed every drop. How do you pass food to someone in Japan when you are using chopsticks? In Japan, you should generally never pass food to other people if you're not serving them. Passing food from one person's chopsticks to another person's chopsticks is considered extremely rude because it's similar to a funeral ritual. If you have to pass food to a person, put it on their plate and let them grab it themselves. What do you say before dinner in Hungary? I can't even pronounce that.
Hungary
means have a great meal. You'll be expected to try a little bit of every dish served. How do you turn down a glass of tea in Afghanistan? Turn your glass upside down. Duh. Afghans are warm hosts and guests usually greeted with tea called chai. The amount of sugar in your glass is a reflection of how much you are honored. Your glass will be refilled as soon as you turn it down until you turn it over. You make this look easy peasy. Ready for round 2? Of course, I'm ink ready. Ink ready, Bobs? Get it? If you're eating a whole baked fish in Poland, why shouldn't you flip it over? Because you'll capsize the fisherman's boat? Yippers. There's an old wives' tale in Poland that flipping over a fish on a plate will flip over the fisherman's boat in the water. What is the first thing you should do when sitting down at a restaurant in the United States of America? Unfold your napkin and place it on your lap. When sitting down at a restaurant in the United States, the first thing you should do is unfold your napkin and place it on your lap where it should stay for the whole meal. If you have to get up, fold the napkin and place it beside your plate. What is a common breakfast in Haiti? Spaghetti with hot dogs. A common Haitan breakfast is espaguette, which is spaghetti with hot dogs. Other common breakfasts include plantain porridge, maïs moulin, mashed corn, and eggs with plantains. Akasan or corn flour shakes are also popular and delicious. Is there a polite way to eat peas in England? Yes. Mash and squish them into your fork. In England, never scoop peas. They could roll off. The polite thing to do in this country is to mash peas onto your fork to avoid a potential mess.
You could try that out with your peas.
If someone is pouring you a beverage in Japan, what should you do? You should not allow other people to pour your beverage. Hold and lift the cup. Right. It's considered polite in Japan to pour beverages for other people at the table. If someone is pouring your beverage, you should hold the cup, lifting it slightly from the table. Also, you should generally have other people fill your cup. In Canada, how did the Inuit people say thank you? The food was excellent. They burp. Yes, indeed. Burping is considered a sign of thanks. It said the South Sea Islanders do the same. Or maybe it's all those spices. In traditional Hindi homes, who is served vegetarian meals first? An idol representing the god Krishna. In some Hindi homes, vegetarian food is offered to the gods before it is eaten. The food is not tasted as it being prepared and is allowed to sit in front of a photo or statue of Krishna before it is eaten. This practice is called prasadam, and many temples offer free prasada meals to the poor. What does putting a fork and knife together on a plate mean for most English people? It means you're done. The British are known for having a lot of rules around eating, like always holding a fork in the left hand and a knife in the right. Putting the fork and knife side by side on the plate tells everyone you're finished eating. How can you show your host you liked your meal in Japan? Slurp your noodles as loudly as possible. In Japan, slurping noodles is a compliment to the chef. It means you like the food so much you can't wait to get it into your mouth. If you are invited to a friend's house for dinner in Russia, what should you do when you arrive? Take off your shoes. Most Russians do not wear their street shoes inside their home. They prefer to wear home shoes, which they will normally offer to guests once they arrive, or socks. Sounds cozy. What a cakewalk. Ready for round 3? Of course, Incredibox. You probably won't get it, but what salty, slightly bitter tasting spread do many Australians put on their toast, crackers, or sandwiches? Vegemite. Vegemite is a popular Australian spread. It's commonly used on toast, crackers, or sandwiches, but the official website shares the recipes that include Vegemite on burgers, pizzas, or even ice cream. Where should the host sit at the dining table in First in Switzerland? The middle of the table. In Switzerland, the place of honor is in the middle of the table. This way, they get to be closer to all the guests. How do you eat pizza in Chile? With a fork and knife? In Chile, it's generally considered rude to touch food. Most people never use their hands when eating pizza. Well, what do the 3 rounds of tea served at Malayan dinners symbolize? Life, love, and death. Malayan people often finish big meals with a tea ritual that involves green tea being poured from pot to pot and glass to glass. The first glass is bitter like life, the second is strong like love, and the third is gentle like death. How do you ask for Parmesan, oregano, or other condiments to put on your pizza in Italy? You don't? In Italy, it is considered rude to put other condiments on your pizza that aren't offered to you. Where should you point your feet when eating in Senegal? Away from the food or other people. Feet are considered unclean in Senegal, so it's extremely rude to point them at food or the people around you. In Portugal, what should you never ask for in a restaurant? Salt and pepper. In Portugal, chefs take pride in getting meals exactly right. It's considered a criticism of the chef to ask for additional salt or pepper. What do most English people think about Americans eating fried chicken with their hands? It's okay if there are no utensils around. It's fine. The English say if there are no utensils around, it's okay to eat with the hands. Asking for utensils would be an insult to the cook. It would mean you didn't want to just dive into the food. In traditional Spanish snack bar, what should you do with your crumbs, old napkins, food wrappers, and other debris? Throw everything on the floor. In snack bars in Spain, they sweep up everything at the end of the evening. You're expected to dump stuff on the floor. What should you do when you're invited to a Finnish person's house for dinner? Offer to bring food and help once you arrive. Finnish society tries to be egalitarian, which means everyone is helpful. You should always offer to bring food, help while you're there, and help clean up. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Ready for round 4? Yes! I was born ready! What should you do if a friend stops by while you're eating in Ghana? Invite your friend to share your meal. In Ghana, food is always shared. You should offer food, even your last bite, to your guest. If you accidentally spill salt in Azerbaijan, what should you do next? Spill some sugar too. In Azerbaijan, if you spill salt on the table, it means you're about to fight. Spilling sugar means the opposite. So find some sugar! In fancy restaurants in Germany, what's the proper way to cut your potatoes? What is this answer? With a genuine flick and masher portable potato slicer? No. With your fork. Everyone in Germany knows a fork makes a nice rough cut in the potato to hold all the rich, beefy German gravy. A knife cuts the potato too smoothly. And if you think a flick and masher is the way to cut your potatoes, just stay out of Germany. How should you eat your food in India? With your hands. In India, it's very common to eat food with your hands, but you should only eat with your right hand. You're a lefty? Too bad. It's considered unclean to eat with your left hand. Also, remember not to actually stick your fingers in your mouth. Yes! You should use your thumbs to help guide the food into your mouth. When visiting the Philippines, your host asks if you like halo-halo. What should you expect to receive? A dessert. Halo-halo is a popular cold dessert in the Philippines with crushed ice, condensed milk, and a variety of other ingredients, including fruits, coconut, ube, purple yam, ice cream, and so much more. Yum! Beautiful and delicious. Who should eat first when sitting with a Korean family? Sorry if I'm talking so fast. The oldest person at the table. Many people in Korea follow Confucian rules which say that the oldest person eats first. Also, younger people should never eat faster than older people. If twins are seated, the older twin eats first under these rules. What type of food should you never turn over on your plate in China? A fish. Turning over a fish symbolizes turning your back on someone. If you do this in China, the other people at the table might think you betrayed them. Do Chinese parents traditionally make their kids eat everything on their plate? No, cleaning your plate in China is considered rude. In China, finishing everything on your plate is often considered rude because somebody might think you didn't get enough food and you're still hungry. Your host offers you a cup of tea in Korea. What should you do? Accept it with both hands. In Korea, if someone older than you hands you food or drink, you're supposed to accept it with 2 hands. When dining in Ireland, you'll often see a little plate at your place setting. What is this plate for? The peelings from your potato. This little plate you will sometimes find at your seat. Your seat in Ireland is for the peelings from your broiled potato. To peel your potato, you should use your fork to hold down the potato and knife to peel. That seems kind of tricky, huh? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You said that already in the last part. Ready for round 5? Yes! Always. What should you do when invited to dinner in Fiji? 1. Remove your shoes. Take a seat nearest door. 3. Sit cross-legged and down at the ground. 4. Don't eat until the food is blessed. Fijian culture is all about respect and modesty. The rules are pretty simple once you get the hang of them. If your left-handed and your Iranian host gives you a right-handed fork by mistake, what should you do? Wait a minute. Just eating the fork with your right hand. There's no such thing as a right-handed fork or a left-handed fork. Gotcha! In Iran, people always eat with their right hand. The left hand is reserved for bodily functions. This is true in many countries. In Mexico, what is mole sauce? A sauce made with onion, garlic, chocolate, and spices. Mole comes from the indigenous Nahuatl people who have lived in Mexico for centuries. It's one of Mexico's national dishes and has bittersweet flavor. It's used on meats, rice, and vegetables. What should you never do while eating in Japan? Stick your chopsticks into your rice. Sticking chopsticks into rice is part of a ritual performed at funerals called Sukitate Bash. You should never do this if you happen to visit Japan. What's the polite way to show you loved your meal in Togo? Break any bones in the meat and suck the marrow out. Afterwards, let out a small burp. In Togo, people do not like to waste food. The marrow of bones is very nutritious. The burp lets your host know the meal was delicious and filling. In Nigeria, what is fufu? What? A children's TV? A yam or cassava dumpling. In Nigeria, vegetable dumplings are served with many meals as an appetizer. Should you put your fork in your mouth in Thailand? No forks in mouths. Why is there an answer called what is a fork? Many traditional Thai people consider it rude to have forks in mouths. Instead, forks are used to transfer food to spoons. What do the 3 rounds of tea served represent in Senegal? Friendship. 3 rounds of tea are served in Senegal, with each one sweeter than last. This symbolizes a deepening friendship. How do most people cut their food in Indonesia? With a spoon. Shh. Indonesian families usually eat with a fork and spoon. Food is pre-cut, but if you need to cut it, you should use the side of your spoon. Indonesians value quiet eating and should try to avoid loud chomping sounds. What's the right way to ask a chef for ketchup in French? There's no right way to ask a chef for ketchup. Asking a chef for ketchup in French would be an insult. It means you don't like the food. This is bananas, you won! Alright. That's the end of the video. Alright. Person on the call, I can't tell you my friend's name because, yeah. Anyways, you could unmute now. Anyways.